on Rock Paper Shotgun, we don't indulge in naughty herbs because we're high on life. Okay, there was that period where Matthew was addicted to Haribo. It was basically a much fatter version of Trainspotting. But otherwise we're as squares come. Which makes us the perfect team to tackle Weedcraft Inc. from the wonderfully named team Vile Monarch. It's a Tycoon game about building your own weed empire in America. If you thought you were being naughty putting extra salt on the fries in Theme Park to make punters thirstier, wait until you're wrestling with the legality of running a modern drug empire. And it's all set to Polish hip-hop, which Theme Park definitely wasn't. But that isn't the only way it's different to more familiar Tycoon games. As our resident management sim addict, and for no other reason, I got to play Weedcraft Inc. and now present to you 6 ways it isn't just Theme Hospital for drug dealers. The developers tell me that they're not trying to promote drug use, just highlight some of the issues around a growing industry. That said, they did say the game could be played with one hand, freeing up the other for chemical pursuits. Personally, I prefer you to use that spare hand to click the like button and subscribe. Rock Paper Shotgun is a legal high. Now, on with the list. I'll admit that when I got the invite to play the game, I thought it was going to be a bit of a lame attempt to court controversy and appeal to giggling stoners. There's maybe a bit of that going on, but I was surprised at how much Vile Monarch are trying to target a wider crowd. Inspired by America's slightly chaotic approach to legalizing weed, they want to make sure that various agendas are all explored throughout their game. It isn't as straightforward as running a legal business. Medical workers, patients, civil rights workers, entrepreneurs and small businesses, farmers and lawyers all have different opinions on how legalized weed will aid their work in larger industries. This is represented by a range of playable scenarios that you drop into in different businesses, from scrappy basement dwellers to giant corporations impacting the highest level of politics. In the scenario I played, I was living in Michigan State as a young man who had to stop his MBA studies after his dad died. Vile Monarch are insistent on still making sure real life is portrayed in the game. This young man's brother had been growing weed to help his dad's pain, but also had his eyes on starting a small, new enterprise. My character started off reluctant towards the whole thing, but slowly comes round to the idea of helping his brother succeed in the industry. In a true rags to riches story, you start off growing weed illegally in your family home.
Yeah, Mr. White. Yes, science.
The key area Weedcraft differs from most management games is in the nature of the product. It's not a simple service, but a living thing that can be cultivated and changed. Weirdly, the closest thing I can think of is the dinosaurs in Jurassic World Evolution, where you can try and spice up regular breeds with violent behaviour or sharper teeth. Ironically, inhale some of the stuff you cook up in Weedcraft and you might start seeing dinosaurs too. You can play around with science and nutrition by improving your various strains of weed. You can alter the amount of nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium each of your plants get in order to make them improve in quality. Whoever said drugs can't teach you anything? You can also up your game by changing the temperature and humidity of your room, but being careful that you're only altering the plants that need this extra push and not all of them, as not all of them react in the same way. Then you can improve your setup by buying more expensive lights which heat the place up, fans which cool the place down, and even extractors which help lessen the smell. Another thing you can do with your strains of weed that I didn't quite get around to being able to do in my playthrough is breeding different strains together to create procedurally generated plants with completely random names and appearances. For instance, I came across some strains called Granddaddy Purple and Orange Sex. I'm not sure the kids are going to be impressed with drugs named after their granddad, but I certainly chuckled as I read them. It's definitely a more colourful management game because of it. As you'd expect from a business sim, your staff are just as important to the health of your business as your clients, rivals, police and politicians. You have to make sure they're happy with their pay, with the way their work is going and with what they're being asked to do. Difference is, they're not just wiping up sick in a hospital ward. You're hiring them based on their abilities in cultivation, selling and, most essential, spying. The worst thing you can do there is buy a cheap sofa for the staff room. Infiltrating a drug den is much worse than hard cushions. Before your employees start working with you, it's down to you to cultivate your crops. You water them, trim them and harvest them yourself, and this makes speeding up time difficult, as you also need to make sure everything is fine above ground. The bigger your operation, the more you rely on staff to fill in the gaps. So I ended up spending most of my time making sure my staff relationships were going swimmingly and that I had a healthy presence in the overall market. One of the benefits of befriending your staff is that you don't have to pay them as much as the staff you're less friendly with. Matthew tries to run a similar system with the Rock Paper Shotgun video team, which is why me and Noah insist on keeping things super frosty. Thanks to Weedcraft for teaching me that mean equals green. Speaking of relationships, everything in the game is governed by your network of connections, from social to political. Everyone you meet and talk to all have various levels of motivation, integrity, cannabis acceptance, and their relationship to you. It's like really sleazy top trumps. This means you can come across police who have very little integrity but very high cannabis acceptance, so you'll be more than likely totally fine with seeing that you've got a basement laboratory growing marijuana and let it slide. I had a police officer who did just this. Swung by due to reports of disturbance, saw my sprouting marijuana and said, "Is that it?" and moved along. Soon enough, rivals start moving into the same area as you and are a lot better at the whole thing than you are. So it's probably in your best interest to become busy mates with them and learn their secrets. The rival I came across was a friendly looking man called Big Papa John. I assume he has no ties to the popular pizza chain, although their special garlic sauce is like crack. We were getting on like a house on fire, but not a house full of weed because that would make the firemen too chill to do their job. Just when I thought things were safe and our friendship was a beautiful thing, I asked him for business advice and boom, down goes our friendship meter right to the bottom, straight down to hostile. That's gonna be a tough one to bring back. I didn't have enough dirt on him, so I couldn't even blackmail him either. I was told that this is a balancing issue they'll sort out, but it made me laugh nonetheless as Vile Monarch were just as shocked by it as I was. Even so, I like the idea of personal relationships playing a key part in business success. Tycoon games are so often about the bigger picture, this puts people front and centre. Another way Weedcraft differs from traditional management sims is the sense of your own morality. You could argue that this is naturally baked into things like Theme Hospital, where you can personally choose whether to charge the sick millions for an aspirin. But here, every decision you choose can make your character decent or shady. There's even a character perk tree that asks you to choose different paths that will make you either a saviour or a complete Scarface. Not wishing to make light of the situation, the developers have made sure that you are aware of how your character is seen and what their actions do to their personality. It is possible to gain a license to sell in cities where it's legal, but unfortunately I didn't get that far in, so a lot of my actions had to be pretty shady just to get a foothold. I wasn't melting anyone in the bathtub like Walter White, but I was far from above board. Vile Monarch say there's no real judgment made on you for your decisions. It's completely down to you as you play and the city will shift around you. Wanna be a big bad? You totally can be, although you'll struggle to become a legitimate business. Or you could focus on being an illegal guardian angel, supplying medical patients in cities where medical marijuana isn't available. It may be harder work, but you could help shift public perception by keeping your nose clean. I also like the way the game lets you shape your customer base. You aren't just serving a generic public. Do you want to be the medical marijuana hero helping old biddies with bad backs? Or do you want to treat farter houses like a personal piggy bank and chase after students and jocks? Different customer classes value different things. Some prefer cheapness over quality. I'm looking at you, vagrants. And others prefer to have better effects from their weed. Some customers are only interested in certain strains or tastes, so it's completely down to you who you want to attract. If you want to help those who need it medically, you can alter prices of the strain of weed that they need, so that they are more readily available. If the jocks prefer a certain strain because of a particular quality and aren't bothered about the price, then rinse them of all of their dollar. I'm totally fine with this, their parents can definitely afford it. I also like the way you can disguise the business and grow your reach at the same time. Got the police on your back? Can't win this one around with bribery? No fear, you're able to make yourself even more inconspicuous by giving your lab, wherever that may be, a storefront. These storefronts can lead to new clients. Huzzah! For instance, opening a pizza restaurant will bring in students as new clients, as well as making your clients and staff coming in and out of your building look way less suspicious. Just don't get your pizza herbs mixed up with your secret stash. My concerns about spiking the special garlic sauce aside, I had a decent time with Weedcraft. It's always hard to judge any management game from a tiny slice, especially in this world where escalation is going to see the entire nature of your industry change. I can say that the art style of Weedcraft Inc. and the passion behind Vile Monarch wanting to create a game of awareness made for an enjoyable time. And that hip-hop soundtrack really does give it a chill vibe. I like that Weedcraft Inc. covers a lot of ground and is sure to educate and interest many different types of people. It still has plenty to figure out, like various button sizing and relationship balancing. Sorry, Big Papa John, I hope we can be friends one day. And repetitive dialogue and conversations, but it is still in the alpha stage. We'll be keeping an eye on this operation, but not in a narc kind of way. RPS ain't no snitch. I'm keen to hear what you think of Weedcraft Inc in the comments below, and do like this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to Rock Paper Shotgun for more PC gaming coverage. While you're here, why not check out our top picks of upcoming indie games, or watch us play through the trippy Hypnospace Outlaw. No drugs involved, of course. Thanks for watching and hope to catch you soon. Bye!